I already started it. Just change it.
Oh.
I already started it. Oh, it's too late. You gotta change it now.
We just have to be Shacknews dumb for this weird stream.
No. Change it. Here we go. We're here. And we're here. And we're playing River City Girl Zero. And I'm adjusting the volume so I can hear everybody. It should still be pretty good on the stream, I would hope. Oh man, we're gonna be joined by Adam Tierney today, TJ. Can you believe it? And we got giveaway stuff going on too. We've got classic, copy of the game and a standard edition. But you know what? We're gonna start a new file. We're just gonna start a new game right off the bat. I played a little bit last night. Have you ever? Are you a fan of the River City series of games?
I love the Kunio games, and I love the original. I love the River City Girls game that came out once already. This is interesting to me because it's like a demake of River City Girls, but it's like, wait, was this a demake or was this a straight up port of something?
This is a port. This was never released in America. River City Girls Zero is a port.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah,
because I know that these characters have been around the River City universe for a long time. But I didn't know that they actually had their own game before the previous River City Girls that we know of.
Yeah, they added this cut. This is new.
For sure.
Yeah. You played the new one, right? Like you were saying, you played the new River City Girls. So this is actually the reason that they were able to port this is because of the Carbon engine that Limited Run Games made. So they team up. Them and WayForward and Limited Run Games have like a pretty tight knit relationship, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, but I love this intro. They're just talking about fixing it up and stuff like that. So here's how you do the things. I can do all these things already. So let's get to it, shall we? You know I'm a River City girl. Technos. There's a label I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. Oh, Technos.
Yeah. I love the music, like right off the bat. The music is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna watch all of this unfold, TJ.
It is wild because people probably mostly know of River City Ransom, and then there's River City Girls, of course. But there are
so many games.
There are games in these in
oh no, that umbrella. Yeah, no, all of those did you ever play Super Dodgeball?
Yes, I loved Super Dodgeball.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That's part of it. So right away our main characters are framed for murder or assault, trying to run over a girl and destroying her umbrella.
A bunch of jerks.
We go to...
How could they do that? Kunio and Riki, how could you go so wrong? You were our heroes.
They were. With their pompadours. Well, now they're jailbirds. Obviously, they didn't do it, TJ. You know that, right?
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe it. They have to clear their name first, or else I can't believe it. I believe what the newspaper tells me.
I mean, it's kind of like a Legend of Ricky-O game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where they drew a lot of influence from, too.
A great inspiration.
But in here, I'm the law. Takayama. Got it? Welcome to your new home, Cell 218. By the way, is Mamoru a classmate of yours? So what if he is? That's my Kunio voice.
Nice.
Takayama. Well, ever since he started hanging out with you garbage hooligans, he's been acting bad himself. I will never forgive you for leading him astray. Now get in there.
If I went to jail, even if it was just like not super dangerous, angry, bad place prison, I would still walk around with a gate, like just with my arm, with my fists out in front of me all the time.
Oh yeah, just in case.
I mean business.
Hey there, new fish. Welcome to Cell 218. In here, I'm the boss. If you want to stay healthy, we will do what I say. Any objections? Oh man, wow. Things are getting freaky deaky. Kunio, like I'd let a thug like you boss me around. That's real funny. John Travolta?
Played by, I was going to say, is that John Travolta or Bobcat Goldthwait?
Oh, John Travolta. I don't know. He could be like, that's my Bobcat. That's real funny. Been a while since we got someone in here with your spunk. Spunk.
Oh.
Let's show him nice Cell 218 welcome, boys. We now become one. What's the matter?
You don't want dudes in prison curious about your spunk.
Nope. I understand it. I get why everyone's curious about my spunk, but I'm gonna hit you with fists. No, hit him with the fist. Don't get in the middle of him.
Oh no.
It's okay, I got this.
Beat him up, Blake.
I did.
Don't let this be that scene from Shawshank Redemption with the sisters.
I'd like to tell you that Kunio got away.
This ain't no fairy tale.
Is that what he says? I couldn't remember.
Something like that. Yeah. Give him a kiss.
I'm gonna be alright. Yeah. I did the thing. I'm a hero.
You beat up guys in prison.
That's what I did. You got some moves, alright. Fine. From now on, you're the boss. Well, maybe I should be more Tony Danza. Angela. I heard you were in here for pulling a hit and run on someone. No way. We'd never do something like that. Whoa. Falsely accused, huh? Welcome to the club. You think they were all falsely accused? I mean, they were ready to beat the shit out of you for no reason. Mm-hmm. Kunio, Ricky, there's a visitor here for you. Man, I'm glad I'm going to voice all this for like an hour after talking for 2 hours.
Let's all crouch in the exact same fashion.
Alright, what should Hiroshi's voice sound like?
Is he the prison guard dude? Oh, wait,
no, he's the guy visiting. Who's their friend?
He doesn't know. Does he have a?
No. What should I say? What should he sound like? What should he sound like? Come on, give me a famous person. I said I'd do Robert De Niro.
You did say you'd do Robert De Niro.
All right.
Which is good.
It's more the problem with Robert De Niro is it's all in the eyes, so no one's gonna see me doing Robert De Niro. Cuneo. Yuck! Don't talk that Hiroshi. It's true. You're embarrassing yourself. It's just unfair. How long are you gonna be stuck in here? You act like we chose to come here. You gotta break out and get back to school. Easier said than done. Since you got thrown in the air over there, our school is in chaos. Huh? Daiki started acting like the new boss and doing whatever he wants. That meathead, he wouldn't pull that crap with me around. And, spit it out, Hiroshi. Well, Misako is... what's wrong with Misako? Well, she seems, really friendly with Daiki since you left. Oh, man. Wow, I'm having an existential crisis. I mean, I haven't seen them doing nothing together. I just heard them rumors, you know. It's probably just a rumor. Forget I said about it. That unfaithful. I believe I warned you this not happen when you two started dating. Wow. I don't recall asking your opinion on my love life, Ricky. Alright, time's up. Back to your cell. I hear another rumor too. That someone at our school saw someone who looked just like you, Cuneo.
I would like to believe that people have their own headcanon of how Ricky and Cuneo sound, and you are influencing that as we go.
What are they?
Oh, this is exactly how we always pictured it at WayForward.
Oh my goodness, is our special guest here?
Hey everybody.
Yay!
Hey, Adam.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Yeah, we're already getting into River City Girls. Was narrating the story for everybody. It was I got pretty passionate. Did my worst Robert De Niro impression ever. And
I thought I heard a little bit. I thought I heard a little bit of Young Travolta.
Oh, there was.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely some Travolta for Ricky and Cuneo. They both got that Travolta vibe. I don't know. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about River City Girls Zero.
Sure.
This is
I think, I mean, aside from the trailers, I think this is the first time we're ever showing this publicly, ever showing the official English translation publicly. You guys are the first.
Really? Damn. That's an honor, man. I had no idea that we were being blessed in such a way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love it's so goofy too. I love the whole pretending they're sick and rolling around on their stomachs and stuff. It's such a goofy story.
Yeah. So this was released in Japan a long time ago, right?
Yeah, 1994 on Super Famicom, which is the Japanese version of Super Nintendo.
One of the golden years of gaming.
Yeah, and I think, I'd read that this is sort of like one of the last games by that original core Technos team. So a lot of the people that worked on this one worked on the first couple Double Dragon games, the original River City Ransom, and the first couple Kunio-kun games. This was, like, I believe, like one of the last times that original team worked together.
Yeah. And so, what was the process of getting it brought to the U.S. then after so many years?
So, yeah, basically Arc System Works is our Japanese publisher, and they're the ones that we work with on the full River City Girls games. And, you know, when they didn't create these games, but they bought the whole brand, I think around like 2015 or so. So Arc System Works now owns Double Dragon and Kunio-kun and Combat Tribes and like a lot of that old, like, you know.
Oh my God, Combat Tribes.
Oh yeah, and so we got to use like in the first River City Girls game, there's cameos from people from all those different games as like shopkeepers and stuff. But basically, this was the game that inspired River City Girls. It's the only one that you have playable from the old games that you have playable Masako and Kyoko in addition to the boys. So the 4 playable characters here are the exact same 4 playable characters that you get in River City Girls 1. And this was really the game that inspired us. And so, you know, the first game was a success for us, and then we've been working on part 2 for a while. And this was always an influence, but then at some point we just said, like, man, it'd be really cool if people, you know, outside of Japan were able to play this one. And specifically because a lot of the events and characters in River City Girls 2, which we're working on now, are kind of teed up in this game. So it's like, oh man, they would have like a better understanding if people got to play this one first. So we pitched the idea to Arc. It was kind of weird because WayForward, we don't typically, you know, port old games and especially porting like other people's games. But we felt like there would be a cool opportunity here that if the River City Girls fans could play this one between 1 and 2, it would be kind of like a nice kind of like bridge stopgap, like while they're waiting they have something cool to play from like the series history. But then also they, like I mentioned, they would get a deeper understanding of some of the characters and the plots in the second one. So we talked to them, we pitched the idea, we basically said, hey, can we port this? And then we'll put a bunch of flavor stuff in it. We'll put like the anime intro, put like comic scenes and some new music and songs and stuff like that, and they were totally on board.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, everything's blowing up here. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We're so glad you could be here. If you have questions for Adam, ask them in the chat, and if they're appropriate or respectful, we might ask them. You know, and please feel free to give us a follow or a sub if you feel so inclined. We appreciate the love and support. We do fun stuff like this all the time. But yeah, let's keep going. So, you guys work with limited run games a lot for a lot of what y'all do, and I know. What role did the Carbon engine play in getting River City Girls 0 ported?
Yeah, that was really kind of an interesting thing. So basically, they were the programming half of the team. So usually WayForward does everything, and we just work with Limited Run Games as one of our publishers on the physical. But this one, it was really a co-production. So basically, they've got their Carbon engine that they use to port old games onto modern systems. So they were the ones that got this game onto Switch, and then that's what it's releasing on Monday, and then in a little bit afterwards, it's going to be coming on to all the other platforms. They did all the tech work, and then WayForward would work on like the creative materials. So we did new music and new animation and stuff, and we would give those to the guys at Limited Run, and then they would put everything together. So it really was, you know, more than we've ever worked with them before. It really was a true co-development.
Yeah, that's freaking rad. So this is all new music, or is it the classic soundtrack remastered?
So the way that we did it is we didn't want to like screw around with the game because this is the first time people are going to play it. So all of the new stuff that we're doing surrounds the game. So when you started it up, you saw the new intro and you heard the title song from Megan, and then during the little comic intro, we've got some VO there, we've got, you know, some music there. But we were very careful. Once you start the game, we didn't want to screw with the game other than providing new transitions.
Oh, no!
And so that was the idea. So yeah, all of this that you're playing and hearing now, this is all pure 1994 classic Kunio-kun, other than it's got the new English translation. And then if you beat the game at the end, then there's some more things at the end. There's an end credit song, and then there's some another like kind of bookend cutscene, and then a couple extras and stuff. So we wanted to surround it, but we didn't want to screw with the game itself. So that's kind of our approach.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. I mean, this, like, the Super Nintendo is one of my all-time favorite consoles. I love this era of games. Yeah, this is I'm having a blast playing this, like, already. I swear I'm better at it than I look. I am.
Oh, no, I did the same thing. If you have to talk and play, forget it. Forget your skills.
Yeah.
I think our mind only supports one. I do the same thing. But no, the game really holds up. I mean, you can see the inspiration for River City Girls, the first game, in this. Like, from this older game, you can see you can curb stomp people and the way that you can grab them and attack them and the personality. Like, again, so much was inspired by this game. So that's part of why we really wanted to, once it occurred to us, we really like the idea of getting that over here so that the fans in the U.S. and especially the fans of River City Girls 1 could try it out. I've got a couple of questions I could just power through and let you
sure.
Chill and play for a while. So one question was, did Priscilla Hamby do the promo art for this game? So this one was actually interesting. So the motion comic that happened before and after, like the little cutscenes, just like we had in the first River City Girls, those are by Priscilla. So they just look very traditional River City Girls 1 style. And she drew the comic pages. All of the promo art and the cover art and everything in this game was drawn by another artist that we work with named David Liu. And what's really cool is, since the game came out originally in 1994, we wanted to kind of keep that style. And so all of the art that David did for the covers and the anime intro and the key art, all that kind of stuff, it all looks like anime that would have been produced in the early 90s as opposed to modern anime. And then the same thing with Megan McDuffie on the music. She kind of gave everything a very early 90s flair rather than like a more modern flair. So they had a lot of fun kind of going into like a bit of a time capsule for that. But yeah, all the key art is by David Liu, amazing artist, and then the cutscenes are by Priscilla, also amazing artist, and she's been for the series from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh man, the opening credits when you first start this up are so badass. That song is so great. We have and then the little introduction sequence that you guys added as well. I really like that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was fun to work on all that stuff. Another question is, let's see, do we know which tracks Megan McDuffie performed? So she produced, she worked on 4 songs on this game, which on Monday when the game comes out, she's actually going to be releasing an EP. I think it's a 5-song EP, so it's like the 4 ones from this, and then 1 remix. And basically it's the intro song, which she did the music for and sings on. It's the 2 background songs for the cutscenes, and then there's an end credit song that I won't spoil yet, unless you guys happen to get there. But that is her with another really cool artist that we were super fortunate to work with, and that's going to be on there too. So yeah, basically 4 songs in the game, and then the soundtrack will allow 5, and then everything that you guys are hearing right now, that's all the classic 1994 soundtrack.
Nice.
Let's see, another one question is there any point to those passwords you see when pausing now the game has a save feature? So they actually do work. It's a really weird password system that I didn't really remember how it worked until I started playing it when we were, developing the new version. But you can enter almost like any random numbers, four numbers, and it'll warp you somewhere in the game. And it's almost kind of, so rather than warping you to specific exact locations, it's almost kind of like a binary code or something, says it, where it's giving warping you to a specific point in the game. So it's actually, is that something you can mess around with, is you can play around with it and experiment with numbers, and they'll warp you all over the game and put you in different spots. But yeah, to answer the question, it does work. So it's kind of not as useful now that it's on the, it's been ported, and this has a save state, so you can basically pause the game, save any point, continue from there. If you screw up, you can go back to your save and redo it, and it's got the permanent files saved. So because of all that, the password system is not as useful anymore, but it is still functional.
Passwords used to be very important. I would have notebooks full of passwords.
Sure.
And back in my day, we had to write it all down. We had to make grids with dots to play Mega Man.
And it's funny, there's actually this game, I don't think it's a spoiler so much because it's, in fact, I should mention it because it's like a cautionary thing. When you start the game, you can choose either easy or, I forget if it's easy or hard or easy or normal. If you choose easy, it's much easier, but the game ends early, and basically, like, the bad guys will kind of taunt you and say, like, oh, like, you know, you're a chump, you chose easy, you should, you know, come back later and choose the hard one, and they'll let you kind of do, like, a little bit of a skip ahead to that. But, yeah, you only do, like, the full play top to bottom if you do the hard mode, so as far as I remember. Somebody says, can't appreciate enough David Liu's art, so is there a chance for a Space Maria game? Space Maria is a really cool, like, 80s, 90s anime style character that David came up with, does a lot of shirts for and fan art of. We love that character. So, you know, she's owned by David, so it'd be totally, you'd have to ask him if he wants to do a video game, but we're huge fans of Space Maria.
I like Kunio and Riki's bold strategy of continuing to wear the prison stripes well after they're out of prison.
Well, I'm going to get my clothes. That's the mission right here.
So what it is in the dialogue, basically you guys went to prison and then a bunch of wannabe school leaders stole your clothes. And so the first thing you got to do is you got to get your clothes back. And it actually, like, historically, that's always been a big thing for Kunio, is like getting that outfit and having that outfit. And in this game, they actually made it so that it kind of gives you special powers, so you don't unlock your full moveset until you get your clothes back. You're kind of limited when you're in the prison garbs. And I think they complain about it. They say, like, I can barely move in these things or something like that. But once you actually switch over to the traditional outfits, then you get an expanded moveset, which is kind of clever.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna get my friggin' clothes back. Oh no!
There's a question, have I seen Miami Connection? No.
Oh.
Sounds like Megan was channeling that pretty hard for the music. I'll have to check that out.
Oh man, that is I don't want to, I hesitate to say classic. It's something you have to see, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. That is a movie, all right.
It's a movie you can watch. Yeah, if you guys have any questions on Twitch, just type them out and we'll answer.
Yeah, and also it looks like people are entering our giveaway right now. We've got one standard edition and one classic edition to give away. Man, oh man, I am going to be pre-ordering the super extra special edition myself on Limited Run Games because it comes with action figures.
Yes.
Nice.
And we worked hard on those. So that's the thing, is like, that's one of my favorite things about Limited Run, is we'll collaborate with them on like the ideas for what we want to include in each edition. And I don't remember if they came up with the idea or we did, but one of the sides said, hey, we should do action figures. And so we've actually spent the last couple months designing them and figuring out how they'd look and how the joints would work and all that. And then once we had kind of the design specs, then Limited Run would work with their manufacturers and get, you know, CG models. And then, like, that was one of the coolest things. They would send us, like, video of the people making the molds, like bending the joints and showing how they work. And it's like, oh my gosh, we actually got toys. So that's been really cool, and I was super happy that we were able to get that in the Ultimate Edition. You get the Collector's Edition toys of Misako and Kyoko. They're similar to like Figma toys, if you ever had any of those. And they also have swappable faces, so they have different expressions. It's really, really cool.
I love that stuff. You can't see my the object swallow I live in, but I'm mostly just surrounded in a pile of retro video games and action figures. So yeah, yeah, so it's a win-win for me there.
Yep.
Oh no! I was doing so well.
There's a question, which English translation should one use first? So yeah, one of the things, again, we wanted to kind of, you know, strike this balance between making this game feel like it's connected to the River City Girls games for people who played those and maybe had never even played a Kunio-kun game outside the first River City Girls, but then also doing a really faithful adaptation of it. And so rather than make a choice between the two, we said let's just do both. So there's actually 2 translations in the game. I think if you didn't change it, you're probably on like the River City Girls style one. That one is basically us just, again, not changing the story, but just tweaking the dialogue so they kind of sound like they do in the River City Girls 1 game. But we also have a completely faithful, mostly untouched translation where it's just like a direct word for word to the best of our abilities translation of the original Japanese. That's in there too. So for people who want to play something that feels a little more River City Girls-y, we've got that option, and then we've also got an option that people want to just know what the original Japanese game said verbatim translated into English.
People wanted me to switch to Ricky, and I did. Do you know if this Ricky was inspired by Ricky O at all, especially?
I don't know that.
Given
and no, to answer Tempest, I'm not playing the game.
I'm playing the game. Yeah. If you want to talk trash about my skills, you're welcome to. But you know, I'm doing what I can. I'm doing my best. There we go, knocking people out left and right.
Are there Japanese songs on here? Well, the songs are done by Megan, so they're in English, the new songs. But that is one of the cool things, too, is this actually is the first River City Girls game with dual VO. So when you're going into the game at the beginning, if you want, you can change over to hear Masako and Kyoko in Japanese with their Japanese voice actors for the first time. So that was really cool. That's something that we're looking to do, going forward with the River City Girls games, is try and do them dual VO. We wanted to do on the first one, and there just wasn't enough time. So that's an option here. You can either listen to the girls in those intro cutscenes in English or in Japanese, or any combination. You can listen to them in English and read text in Japanese, or listen to the Japanese and read text in English. Kind of give you options for all of it.
Man, this is awesome. And of course, River City Girls 2 is coming up, right?
Yep. Yeah, that one we're working really hard on wrapping that one up. Bannon Rudis, who co-directed the first game with me, he's directing that solo. And that one's coming out later this year. I believe we're saying summer 2022, but it's really cool. It's a really massive game compared to the first one. Bigger story, bigger environments, lots of new systems, lots of new attacks. More playable characters. We've got all 4 from the first game, and then we've also got Pruvi, who's the breakdancing character from River City Underground. We've got Marion, the Double Dragon girlfriend.
Hell yeah.
And basically, she's in there just because everybody flipped out for her as the shopkeeper in River City.
Those ads!
Yep, exactly. It was one drawing, and people wrote articles about it, and we're like, well, I guess we got to make her playable because we got asked it constantly. So so she's in there, and 6 playable characters, lots of new bosses, lots of awesome plot points, and I'm really excited about it. And that's one where I wrote the dialogue again, but aside from that, I was kind of mostly just able to watch it develop from the outside in, since I wasn't co-directing this time. I'm really impressed with it. We have a question that says, do Kaylee and Kira do the Japanese voice acting? No, they actually, both of them do speak Japanese pretty well, as far as I understand, but Arc System Works actually did full casting, and so they cast Japanese voice actors, pretty established ones, for Masako and Kyoko. We won't mention them by name yet because I think that's going to get mentioned when the game releases. But again, when you boot up the game starting Monday or later, you can either hear the English actors Kaylee and Kira, or you can hear the Japanese actors.
Nice. Man, I'm brawling. Look at me go. I got this.
Yeah, it's a tricky game because I've never seen one like that where you sort of have 4 health meters, but you gotta be on top of it, because if you let any character die, then it's over, and you know it's a pretty forgiving continue. You can kind of continue from not far back from where you left off. But yeah, what you have to do is you have to basically, as you're getting low on health, swap to one of the other characters and kind of be bouncing between them in terms of their health things. It's definitely a unique system.
Oh man, he's wearing my uniform.
Oh, that punk.
Oh, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get popped in the kisser. Man, I love what WayForward has done with like so many classic franchises. Double Dragon Neon was like I was a big fan of that, and the River City Girls franchise has been doing fantastic stuff. Is there like any franchises that like you guys like dream of working on at this point that you would love to get your hands on?
I mean, kind of most of them that you would expect. So like, and it's crazy because I can't even get too deep into the conversation because so many of them we're either talking about with right now with the people that own them, or we might want to do on the horizon, or we're actually already working on. We're working on a couple of retro ones right now that are really fantastic ones. So, Double Dragon was great. Kunio-kun was great. One that we're not working on now that we always joke that we would love to do at some point, which was also a Data East brand, is Karnov.
Oh my God! You don't even know. You don't even know. Oh my God! We were speaking about Karnov the other week on the live stream because Karnov resembles a staff member of ours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that's one of the dream ones for us is. If we can one day do a WayForward Karnov game, I think that would
oh my God, oh my God, I would be so pumped for a new Karnov game. I like sincerely enjoyed that game. I had the NES cartridge.
Yep, I do too.
And
it's such a weird character because he's just like this big tubby genie guy, and he's like, shooting fireballs from his mouth while he's doing like a chicken dance, and it's all about like creating a ladder, and the abilities are just super bizarre.
Yeah, and then like the bad dudes. He's the first villain from the.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Bad Dudes is another one. Oh my God, I would love to be a bad enough dude to save the president again. I don't. It really depends on the president now.
Yeah, and they go afterwards. I forget. They go out for burgers, I think, or pizza, something like that.
Yeah. They high five.
Yeah, I think the Bad Dudes. The lead programmer on this, Joe, is a huge Bad Dudes fan. So yeah, maybe between Limited Run and WayForward, we can do
Let's
a Bad
like
Dudes
what petition?
What? Something.
Okay, all right. How much money do you need from me? I don't have a lot. I will give what I can to make this happen, though. Do I need to get a petition going? Like, what's it going to take to make the the Karnov Bad Dudes game?
I've been at WayForward for almost 20 years. I think like 18 years or so when I started as an animator and started directing. I think we've been talking about Karnov the entire time, so it'll happen at some point. I think somebody in the chat mentioned that the rights of the character are really complicated. I think I'd seen that myself because I know a lot of the old Data East stuff kind of got sold,
Yeah, there was like a fire sale where...
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and then there was also, the Double Dragon and Kunio-kun, that got bought by Arc. But I'd heard that Karnov either stayed with developers at Pwn or it went somewhere else or something that's more complicated. But he's a cool enough guy that he's worth it. We'll have some conversations at some point.
Oh damn! Throwing shade.
There's one of them. There's one of the River City girls.
Yep.
She's right there.
And this is also kind of a good example of like the translations. In the literal translation, they're pretty mouthy. Ricky and Kunio, like they let some curse words fly, and they're really insulting about some of the characters. That's intact in the literal translation. So it's different than, I know there's a fan translation that's been out forever. It's different from that. We did the translation from scratch. We didn't use anything from that fan version of the game. But yeah, they're definitely a little more curt with the way that they talk about characters in the literal translation. We didn't tone it down necessarily in the RCG one, but we just made it sound more like kind of the RCG style, so not quite as cursy and stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting to have kind of the two different versions of the characters. And yeah, again, you guys can pick either one. You can either pick If you want to hear almost exactly what it sounded like in Japanese, but just in English, you can pick the literal translation. If you want something that sounds a little bit more like they do in River City Girls 1, you can pick that one.
Everyone popping squats left and right in this game, too. Just relaxing,
Yep.
kicking it. Looks like both their schools are destroyed or taken over. So now it's time to go kick more butt. Almost like someone was planning it before.
Well, and especially like you'll see once you start playing with Misako, the way that she attacks, that was really the seed of River City Girls 1. Like, I was not aware of this game until a couple years before we did the River City Girls game. I knew, of course, about River City Ransom and about Dodgeball and like all the old NES games, but I had somehow missed this one. And then one of the other directors showed it to me, and I just thought it was so cool that you have these like kind of dainty, kind of skinny, cute little girls, and they're just like curb stomping the hell out of like, you know, gang members and just really like super aggressively fighting them. And I just thought that was like such a cool visual. And so a lot of that carries over, a lot of their attacks, a lot of their, you know, kind of like Kyoko's Chun-Li style, like rapid kick, a lot of this stuff from this game we carried over into the first River City Girls game, which was cool.
Oh yeah, this is a really well put together game in general, honestly.
It's a really ambitious game for Super Nintendo too. I mean, it's like that was part of what appealed to us too. Is it's, you know, as you guys can see, it's really dense on story, and you know we were dense on story too. I think the difference is when you play River City Girls 1 and also River City Girls 2, most of that kind of plays while you're able to fight. On this one, it usually pauses. But we try to do more of the passive dialogue, so it's just kind of playing while you're running around. But yeah, this is a really deep story. I mean, it really gets into the relationships between the characters, and a lot of the classic enemies show up, and everybody's stabbing each other in the back and everything. And yeah, it's a really cool, dense plot. I think it's one of the more plot-heavy games in the Kunio-kun series.
Definitely. Like, I remember, I don't, you know, it's been several decades now since I played River City Ransom, but I don't really remember too much going on in that game story-wise. But like
it's got its plot, but it doesn't do as much. It's not as heavy on the dialogue. They went deep on this one. Someone asks, given that this game is now being highlighted as a prequel to RCG, will Misako and Kyoko have more of Misako have more of her moves in this game in River City Girls 2? So I don't know if they're specifically pulled from this game, but we are expanding on the character's moveset in River City Girls 2, and a lot of that has to do with, you know, as Bannon was adding the new characters, Pruvi and Marion, they kind of had more contextual attacks. You could see some of it in the first trailer that we revealed, like grabbing enemies and kind of different ways you can attack now. Since we were adding that for the new characters, that meant going back to the original 4 from the first game and adding stuff for them. So they definitely, everybody has more moves, everybody has more ways to attack. I don't think they necessarily pulled from this game specifically, unless I'm not remembering one, because we kind of mined this game pretty heavily gameplay-wise when we did the first game, like especially the emphasis on curb stomping. You know, that's a big move here whenever the enemy is down, and then of course in our game you need to curb stomp to basically resurrect your characters.
Oh yeah, curb stomping is fantastic, and I always appreciate it when it's in a game.
Yeah.
And
you know, the visuals are cool too. Like, yeah, once you start playing as Misako and you know can start curb stomping some enemies, the animation's just really good. Like, they're really good sprite designs in this. It's really cute poses and everything. So yeah, again, this is really all of what you're seeing right now is what inspired us to make that.
Here we go. Oh, Misako just slaps fools. I love it.
Oh yeah, that was the cool thing too. Yeah, the boys punch and the girls slap, and it somehow feels just way more violent just to be slapping the crap out of some enemies. Really good sound effect too.
My pimp hand is the strongest.
And then question: are there team attacks in RCG2 beyond the grabbing? I don't remember what we revealed or not, but that one, RCG2 comes out in summer. We're definitely going to be doing a lot more interviews with Bannon and interviews with the team leading up to it. So we don't want to reveal too much about the gameplay just yet, but we'll get deeper into that stuff as we go and we release more trailers and info on the game.
Oh no!
It's really fun seeing this too, because like the sprite design on River City Ransom, like the angularness of their heads, their pompadours, all that stuff, like that is definitely like that is one of the biggest signatures of this series. But then also like you look at this, it was in 1994, like in the heyday of the Super Nintendo, and it like in some of it, I kind of see a little bit of the Mega Man X sprite design, a little bit of that influencing this. And it's really cool to see like that evolution here.
Yeah, I think when they got to the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, I think the artists were just so excited to have bigger color palettes and be able to do bigger sprites and stuff. And yeah, definitely any of the games where they carried over. You look at like Castlevania, you look at like Contra on Hardcore on Genesis. Anything that went from like the NES era to SNES. They sort of have a similar kind of feel. You're right, because I think they're all kind of taking advantage of the expanded color palettes, of more animations and more pixels, all that stuff. And that was another thing that was really interesting. There's this game, and then there was another one on Super Famicom that was, I believe, sort of like a remake of the first River City Ransom. But these are two of the only games where they broke away from that NES style. Because if you play the last couple of Arc System Works games, even the one, like I think they came out with one very recently that's like a period piece, they always kind of look like the NES sprites. But with this game and the other one I mentioned, they really, like you said, yeah, it has more of a Mega Man X sort of kind of rendering to it. They're taller, they're more detailed, they're more kind of blended on the colors and stuff. Really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's really, I think it's really the eyes that catch me, because like the way that their eyebrows and the way that their hair is formed, their hair is kind of like Mega Man. Their hair and eyebrows kind of form like Mega Man X's helmet.
Yep, a little bit. It's really cool too. They're very expressive animations, so you'll notice like as Kunio and Ricky are like, and the girls are fighting and running and jumping, they have different expressions. So like they'll be smiling sometimes, or they'll get angry like mid-attack. And that's something we kind of definitely did in the first River City Girls game, is we tried to put personality in their faces based on what they were doing. That was very much inspired by this game and some other stuff that was similar. Let's see, we had a question, is the whole game so gloomy? River City Girls is much more colorful and lively. It's pretty much like this, yeah. I mean, it's fairly colorful. You got the green ground and you got the different locations and stuff, but it's a darker game. Like the plot is darker, the literal translation, everybody talks kind of more aggressively. It's definitely less goofy and lighthearted than the first River City Girls game, and that kind of made it sort of an interesting mix when we did our translation. So like I said, we didn't change the plot, we're just kind of tweaking things per line. So if you do the RCG style translation, which I think you guys chose, you're getting a darker plot, but you're also getting kind of some of the talking styles of the lighter games. So it's kind of an interesting mix.
Yeah, also it's like, this is a Super Nintendo game. This is like very much like what classic games were looking like back then,
Sure.
So I think, maybe perhaps that was a younger member of the audience. Did not grow up playing these sort of games. Oh, but who knows?
If you guys have any, shout out if you have any questions. If you have any WayForward questions too, feel free. I mean, you can ask stuff about, the first River City Girls game, or even non-River City Girls WayForward stuff, whatever you guys are interested in.
Oh man, you had a banger soundtrack for the first River City Girls game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The tracks in 2 are just incredible. I mean, you already heard just from playing right now, like the intro track to this one, which is one of my favorites. There's a really good title song by Megan for River City Girls 2. Lots more vocal songs, lots of really incredible ones for the second one, and you know, everything that she did in the first game, she just really takes it to the next level with 2. So you guys are gonna, if anybody liked the soundtrack for the first game, it's gonna blow your mind what she's doing with part 2.
Nice. Yeah.
Question: will anything from River City Girls 0 that wasn't in 1 show up in part 2? Definitely. That was like one of the reasons we wanted to get this out there. So I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to spoil it for part 2, but some of the plots and characters in this game that weren't in our first game are a big part of River City Girls 2, and that was part of the reason why we really wanted to get this out in between the 2 games so people would be familiar with this one. So again, don't want to spoil too much, but there are specific characters that we held back from the first game. We said we don't want to show this character yet, or we don't want to, we just want to mention them, we don't want to have them appear, or stuff like that, because we wanted to have it kind of follow after this one. So yeah, very, very much a connection between the 2.
Nice. How connected is River City Girls to River City Ransom? That's the question.
I mean, River City Ransom is kind of the first adventure game. I think it was maybe the second. It was either the second or the third game in the series. There have been about 50 of them in Japan. I believe the very first one was Dodgeball, and they're pretty connected. It's the main 2 characters in River City Ransom are Alex and Ryan, which were the English names for Kunio and Ricky. They changed their outfit, so they're kind of dressed more like, American school kids in that. But I think most of they renamed everybody, but I think the plot was largely the same. So it's it's all part of the same world. You could say that River City Ransom is sort of kind of like a, earlier game in the series compared to River City Girls. But at the same time, River City Girls is us putting our own spin on it. I think that's how ARC has kind of explained it in Japan. It's like, oh, this is like, River City Girls is like a Kunio-kun story or a Kunio-kun version. So it's not changing because they're still doing pretty traditional games with the characters. So ours is sort of kind of like just this weird side path that's sort of in like the WayForward-y kind of style. But yeah, between River City Girls and River City Ransom, lots of shared characters, lots of shared locations. If you play through the NES game now, you'll notice a lot of the same locations from River City Girls, the exterior of the school and the schoolyards and the way shops work and individual items and characters. We even had one of the cool things in the first River City Girls game is the secret shop has the shopkeeper from River City Ransom in it, and she still looks pixelated like she does in that game. So we basically just said, like, we'll take her as is. We didn't even redesign her, so that was kind of a neat little Easter egg character. Question: while I'm not against working with limited run games for as long as WayForward has, I am a bit curious as to how come we don't see that many retail physical releases. I think the majority of our games are physical, or get a physical component. If it's not it's usually by LRG. We also work with Xseed or Amusio, and then, we'll also, if we get assigned a game, then, sometimes the publisher comes along. But I think there's very, very few WayForward games that don't have a physical game, if I'm understanding the question.
Oh my god.
Let's have them slaps.
Yeah, the whole idea of this, like, school collapsing as you guys are all fighting is just ridiculous. There's so many of these weird little scripty kind of moments. And the bosses in this game, they're tough, man.
Yeah, man, this guy's got some super moves that are really... spinning...
My go-to was the jump kick. Like, I would really just kind of distance myself and get in there with a good jump kick and then back off again. But they're tough. Like, I know a lot of people say that the River City Girls bosses are tough. And they are, but yeah, man, none of the bosses in this game are lightweight. So definitely, as you guys get the game and play it, I would recommend liberally saving your game and having those save points to hop back into.
I'm taking your advice on those jump kicks. Oh,
yeah,
man.
they're saying here. They're saying to recommend the special moves. Let me look up the. I know they're tied to the block. Let me find the moves list.
Oh, I used the Blanca attack.
Yeah, because if you take the time to learn all those things, you definitely have an easier time with it.
Oh no! Get up! Get up, Masako! Oh, I can't do it anymore. Oh. Oh, didn't mean to pause it. He's still going. The damn guy is still going.
Yeah, so for your special moves, you pretty much just you hold the trigger, and then you press either the Y or A, and it changes based on the individual characters. But now that you've got the better costumes, and you've got Masako unlocked, you can start taking advantage of the special moves too.
Yeah. Oh no.
I tend to just jump kick all over the place.
Yeah, I should have just kept jump kicking.
Oh man.
Man, where am I right now? Man. Oh, at least it starts me at the boss.
Yeah.
With full health. I might just stand a chance now.
Yeah, they're pretty kind about that.
I appreciate that a lot. That's what I appreciate about you.
Let's see, a few other things. Seems like this is the game that Bannon Rudis was inspired by when designing how moves work in his River City games, except he used designated special move instead of block. I'm not so sure. You'd have to ask him, Bamo. I don't know that Bannon played this one that much. I remember we played it a little bit when we first started on it, but I think he was much more into River City Ransom, the NES game, and some of the earlier ones. I'm not sure how much he had played this one when he started working on Underground. He's the co-director on River City Girls 1, and he's directing River City Girls 2. Before Bannon came to WayForward, he did development on a game called River City Ransom Underground that was a Kickstarter, and so he's just been working on River City games kind of nonstop for most of his career, which is cool because he's really building off of everything that came before. To add to my question, I was referring to physical versions outside of LRG. Yeah, I mean, is the question why don't we work with other places? We're open to working with places, and we actually do quite a bit of things with other publishers. I think we just really dig working with Limited Run in terms of the awesome collector's editions they do and all the promotion and just how creative they are. So, it ends up just being this is a really good partnership for our original stuff. But I think if you were to look at just like a Wikipedia of like every WayForward game, we're pretty much all over there between all the different publishers, because some of them will come with somebody pre-attached. Like when we did Silent Hill, of course Konami was going to publish it. When we did Contra, same thing. A lot of them are already figured out who the physical publisher is going to be, and often the digital publisher. But yeah, Limited Run, we tend to work with them just because they have a really similar mindset. And I mean, stuff like the current Ultimate Edition, like action figures. I can't imagine any other publisher that we could have done this game with that would say, yeah, let's totally do it. Let's do action figures. So just crazy stuff like that makes it really appealing to work with them all the time.
Yeah, and that Double Dragon, the Double Dragon Neon edition, collector's edition too. Also had some figurines.
Question, any chance to see a physical release at PlayAsia? Nothing planned. If you guys want physical, now's the time to get it through Limited Run. Again, this is not Limited Run just publishing a WayForward game. This is a developed game by Limited Run and WayForward, so we're really going all in on this. But yeah, I don't believe there's anything planned outside of the Limited Run game editions for physical for this. A couple more questions. Let's see.
Joe said you're beautiful, Adam.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're beautiful.
60 seconds to get in on the giveaway. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, get your tickets in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. What brought WayForward to make dedicated PS5 versions for River City Girls and the Shantae games? It was mostly just people asked about it. So I mean, the way that like modern consoles work with PlayStation and now Xbox, it sort of blends the line. Like you can play your PS4 games on PS5, and typically WayForward, when we tend to try to give like free upgrades whenever possible. But yeah, there were just so many people saying, hey, we want the Shantae collection on PS5, we want River City Girls 1 on PS5, and so we talked to Limited Run. They said, yeah, we'd sell that, and so kind of just came from there. But it was just purely just people asking us whether they could get that version, and there were enough people asking that it made sense for Limited Run the way forward.
And you guys, you have some other stuff you're doing with Limited Run right now beyond just the River City Girls franchise, right?
Yeah, it's hard to remember what's been announced, because yeah, the stuff, the amount of stuff that we're working on with them is just tons, and it's bonkers. But some of those games are not announced yet. Some of those games are not announced for physical yet. So I have to be kind of careful about which ones I talk about. I can say, they're doing River City Girls 2 with us for sure. So River City Girls 1, River City Girls 0, River City Girls 2, those are all getting limited run physical releases.
Nice. Yeah. Do you know if you're going to be doing, or maybe, I don't know if you can say, but will there be like a few different editions of River City Girls 2 coming through Limited Run?
So nothing, because we're still quite a ways out. We're not finalized on that, but I think it's a safe assumption that it will be pretty big. The first River City Girls 1 had a really nice collector's edition. We loved working with them, getting stuff like the posters and the ID cards and the necklaces. The River City Girls 0, even better with the action figures, stuff like that. So we're kind of working our way up. So I would hope that the collector's editions for River City Girls 2 are even crazier than they've been for 0. Definitely it's going to be a major release for both Limited Run and WayForward. We've been kind of building up this audience and this version of the brand for the past, almost 3 years. So it should be pretty big, but it's not set in stone yet. We're still talking about it, and that's actually something that we're starting to plan right now. And some of the ideas that are being thrown around for things that could be part of a potential collector's edition are pretty awesome.
Hells yeah! Well,
what do you guys want to see? Yeah.
Oh man!
Suggestions. We're in conversation right now. So either you two guys or people in the chat. We're brainstorming now for both River City Girls 2 and other potential collaborations with Limited Run. Let us know what you want to see. Do you want to see more action figures? Do you want to see plushies? Do you want to see, I don't know, anything?
Oh man!
Tell us what kind of stuff would you guys want to see?
Plushies sound great.
I would actually slay for a Marion fig. I am one of the people that have that was like I was thrilled by that design the moment I saw it, and I was right there alongside everybody else when they were like, "Holy heck, put her in the game, please!"
Yeah, we were forced to. We were forced to by the fans.
It's really funny that it was just that one drawing, and then everybody was so into it that I was like, "Well, I guess we gotta do this now."
I love it, man. I love that this is the year that both Marion and April O'Neil are going to get their fair shake in
she looks
in a
so
brawler.
Awesome in that game.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I'm stoked off of it. Honestly, I'm really stoked that they're both going to be playable, because it's
she looks super fun, attacking with her microphone and everything. She looks badass.
But Marion is just basically always was just a damsel in distress, And
I saw a really funny and really smart fan theory about the way she looks. Somebody was like, If you got punched in the stomach that many times and needed to be rescued, your abs would be jacked to the nines too.
You know, some of that came from, so Priscilla was our artist for all the characters. She basically, the version that you see of them in River City Girls is by Priscilla Hamby. Like when one of the people were writing an article, I think it was Destructoid or something, they like found a quote from her, or they interviewed her or something, and she basically said like, she's like, that was her inspiration for the redesign. She's like, she's been getting punched in the stomach for like, 30 years, and she's sick of taking that shit. And it was just like this really badass kind of quote, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. But so, and the other nice thing is like, Bannon with the characters, he's very careful to not have redundancy between them. So, the first game, first girls game, River City Girls, all 4 characters have kind of their own style. Pruvi and Marion really play very differently in River City Girls 2, and I think Pruvi's animations, just the way she dances around, the way that she's smaller than all the other characters, I think she's gonna, it's gonna be tough. I don't know if people are gonna be more excited about her or more excited about Marion, but both of them are like super just fun to play and just so different than the other 4 characters.
For sure.
Let's see. How many songs on the soundtrack? I don't know. You probably aren't ready to.
So it depends on which one you're talking about. The first River City Girls was like 62 songs or something ridiculous like that, and like 50 of them were by Megan McDuffie. River City Girls 0, this one is 4 or 5 new songs that we created for like the rapping elements. But then it has the original soundtrack, which I think is around like 20 songs or so. And then River City Girls 2, I don't know if there's a count yet, but I would expect it's probably about similar to the soundtrack of the first game. So probably another 50 plus songs, I would imagine.
Did I come in the wrong way? Where am I going here?
Oh. Yeah, you have to grab onto the to jump and then press one of the buttons to grab onto the things.
Well, it's not that button. Oh, maybe
it's the punch button.
Oh! Aha! Well, I'm learning.
Yeah, once you're up there, then it gets pretty crazy and wild.
I love it. Oh, this is great. What a beautiful night here in River City Girls 0.
Yeah, Bama mentioned, by the way, this area is in River City Girls 2. Yep, we showed this off in the trailer, and just like this game, you can jump on the Ferris wheel and knock guys off. Again, we really want to build up this city, like our version of this city, and so as we keep working on new games, we keep looking at older games like this for areas that we can bring over. A couple more questions. Let's see. In light of Marion becoming playable, are you sad that you didn't save the damsel in distress in reverse plot for her? Here's the thing with Marion is she's really a double dragon character, and we have Billy and Jimmy in our series as the shopkeepers, then we've got her as a shopkeeper now playable. I think we want to have her along for the ride with the Kunio-kun gang, but I don't know that we'd want to do something that's like super focused on her, because then it's more of a double dragon game, if that makes sense. That's kind of blurring the line. So I would love to see the reverse just as a future double dragon game by WayForward. Maybe that's what we do next, is do another game like Double Dragon Neon, but it's all about Marion and she's going after the boys or something like that. But I think there's sort of like a threshold. If you go really, really far in the direction of Marion and Billy and Jimmy, then maybe you're more of a Double Dragon game at that point than you are a Kunio-kun game.
Well, I would not mind it a Double Dragon Neon 2, personally, to be honest. I love that.
Asked a lot.
So I wouldn't mind that at all. Go right ahead. Don't.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's a possibility,
Doing more Double Dragon is very high on our list, and again, we have such a good relationship with Arc System Works, so hopefully sometime in the future, we can get back into that world as well. And then we can flip it, and then we can have, a Double Dragon game, and we can have people like Misako and Kyoko being the cameos, which would be pretty cool. The one thing I'll give a hint for River City Girls 2, like, one of the things that we're doing in River City Girls 2 that we didn't do in the first game is the plot changes based on who you're playing as. So you get to hear a lot about, like, whoever you're playing as, you hear their VO. It's changing based on the player's... But we're also, there's elements about the new characters. So when you start to encounter Marion and kind of see her cutscenes and stuff, some of that starts to dive into some of the Double Dragon lore in like a fun way. So if anybody's like a super Double Dragon fan, you'll like Marion in the game, you'll like her moves, and you'll also like kind of the story elements of her.
Nice. Hell yeah. I am a Double Dragon nerd. I like Double Dragon.
Any other questions?
Yeah, but Double Dragon's like the first video game I remember playing ever.
Yeah, like, Double Dragon 2: The Revenge is one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh man, it was so good. There was like a helicopter in the beginning instead of a car.
Yep.
It's
one of the smartest. Double Dragon 2 is one of the smartest games in terms of level design. So if you're ever curious, like, go online and just type like Double Dragon 2 maps and look at how tight those levels are. But they're so well designed, like especially the first level, like the way that they change perspective, the way you're going up ladders and then back on areas, and everything's changing. It's some of the smartest tile sets I've ever seen in like an NES game. Those just masters.
Then 3, like in the arcades, was the one where you could like switch characters, right? Like you'd buy characters at the shop or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember which
3.
one.
You fought them and then they joined your side.
That was the home version, though, right? Not the arcade version. Am I mixing that up? I don't know.
I am talking about.
Yeah, the arcade ones looked more like this. They had like the high color style, and I remember the one thing I remember is the Double Dragon 1 NES game had the like really kind of not great fighting mode, but it was still like as a kid I loved it. It's like, oh man, I get to pick whoever I want. I can play a Bobo and I can fight each other and stuff. But I remember fighting, like, you guys remember that outside of the main game you could like pick any of the characters and just beat the crap out of each other in this like totally empty alley, more or less.
It's fun too, because like you got those detailed looks at their faces in that character select screen, which was just because in NES there's only so much that you can do with like the sprites, but like you actually get a good look at them when your other characters select screen. And I remember a Bobo, he looks terrifying in general, but like seeing his face up close,
he
was fun. He was fun to kind of reinvent in River City Girls 1. So, there have been so many Abobos, including Double Dragon Neon, where he's just like this big hulk of a character. So we went a little smarter. Our Abobo was, he's a music fan and he's got rent to pay. And, we enjoyed kind of giving him a little bit more depth than I think a lot of versions do.
Definitely better than the film version. That leaves some bounds. How about that? How about WayForward does a direct sequel video game to the Double Dragon movie? That's my pitch.
Boy, do people want that?
I don't think anyone wants that, but I'm pitching it.
I remember the Abobo, yeah, and this part's cool. It's just weird, but yeah, when you get past these guys and you get a cool little moment here. I won't spoil it, but this is one of my most fun things about this game.
Say what you want about the Double Dragon movie, but I unironically like that game. Like the arcade fighter that was based off that movie.
Oh, I don't know if I played that.
It's actually pretty dang good.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry, I was watching the game.
There's an arcade fighting game based off of the Double Dragon movie.
Oh, really? I had no idea that existed.
Yeah, it's the movie is terrible, of course, but like the game that's based off of it, actually pretty decent.
Check that out. I remember the Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Yeah, I have that for the Sega Saturn. I just bought it recently, but I digress. Cool. This has been it's been a roller coaster day here at Shacknews. The roller coaster week, really. So I can't think of a better way to wrap things up here than a little roller coaster sequence. Adam, I know you got places to be. I thank you so much for coming by today, though. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking our questions, chatting with the audience. Congratulations to the folks that were able to win a Classic Edition and a regular edition of River City Girls Zero today. This is coming out on Switch on Valentine's Day. That's what you're giving us for the holiday, right? How romantic.
Play it with someone you love, or just play it and love it.
Hey, yeah, I much prefer a new River City Girls game over Flowers. That's just me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we'll swap it over to me and TJ's screen now, and we'll wrap things up here. Cool. But yeah.
Again. But yeah, Monday, like you mentioned, Monday the game comes out digitally on Switch. The soundtrack comes out the same time with new music by Megan McDuffie. Comes out on other platforms a little bit later, so keep an eye out. And right now, at limited run, if you want a physical edition with all the cool stuff like action figures, get over there ASAP, because that stops in March.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much.
No, it was our pleasure. And really quick, Adam, before you go, do you like Portugal the Man? The band? By any chance?
Do I like what?
Portugal the Man. Have you heard of that band?
I don't know no, I don't know that band.
Well, you might get to know them if you happen to be available tomorrow and you can tune in, because they're coming by to play some Halo with us tomorrow at noon, Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. I just wanted to make that quick plug. Adam, get on out of here. But yeah, hey, if you liked what you saw, please give us a follow, give us a sub if you feel so inclined. We're going to be back tomorrow with Portugal the Man, which is a band. It's not actually a band. I mean, nobody in the band is named Portugal. And there's a period after Portugal, and then the Man. You'd have to ask them about that, though. We're going to be, playing Halo with them. And Keith Lowell Jensen and Johnny Taylor are going to be holding it down on the ones and twos. I'll be producing everything. Come on by, play some Halo, talk to Portugal the Man tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in today. This was a blast. Congratulations to our winners. Please, as you can see, we got a bunch of social media stuff down here. Give us a like on Facebook, Shacknews there. We're Shacknews Media on Instagram. We are, you can follow us on Twitter at Shacknews. Denny Von Doom, the man who is giving out tickets and prizes, he's holding it down on the ones and twos on our social media channels. I've been using holding down on the ones and twos a lot today because I love that saying, TJ. I'm glad you thought it was awesome, Skycatcher. Thank you for coming by. Go check out Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos, our YouTube channels. We're also shacknews.com. I'm the co-editor-in-chief there. TJ is our news editor. We post up a ton of video game news and coverage, reviews, previews, you name it. And like I said, we have a ton of stuff every day here on our Twitch channel, so be sure you're following and subbing here. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Shack Pets. We have an app where you upload cute pics of your pets to the app, and then you challenge other cute pics of other pets to a cute off to see which pet is the cutest. There's a little skunk on here named Petal. Hi, Petal. I love you. Go vote for... You can vote for Petal. You can vote for my adorable cats. They win a lot of matches. TJ has an adorable pupper that is on there as well, Silo, that you can vote for. It is a cuddle royale. That is a great way of putting it. We might steal that from you. One PR.
Pretty good.
That is a definite. That's how you know they're good PR, right there. That's how you know One PR knows what's up. And thank you to One PR for helping us put this all together today as well. Go download Shack Pets now on your iOS or Android mobile devices. And you know what? We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, for our first episode of Jokes and Joysticks. Until then, just I don't know. What should they do, TJ? What should people do until then?
Stay tuned. Keep an eye on the channel. We will be back. It'll be fun, and good times are going to be had.
Yep. And until then, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.
Take care, y'all.